my fellow book addicts, Megan here, and time for another book review. Today, I'm going to be talking about A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. And this is book one in a new series, I believe it's trilogy. And it is amazing. So this book is a fantasy book. It takes place in kind of a nice little magical world, much like Throne of Glass, but different. So, I was beyond excited for this book, especially since I love the Throne of Glass series. So I had high hopes for this book, and I was not disappointed in the slightest. It is a fantasy book following the main protagonist, who's 19 years old, and name is Feyre. And this book is kind of a loose fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast. So when I picked this book up, besides the high hopes, I was kind of afraid, especially when I started reading, that Feyre was going to be kind of a carbon copy of Celaena from the Throne of Glass series, because they're both extremely strong characters, they're both badass, they're both like roughly the same age, and they both have sass. They have sass up the wazoo, and they have attitude. And while I love all those things, I was afraid that because of all those similarities, I would see them more as a carbon copy of each other than individual characters like they are. Thankfully, that fear was quickly dismissed, because though both Celaena and Feyre are totally badass and awesome in pretty much every way, they're still different enough that they aren't carbon copies of each other, which was a huge relief. So in this world, fairies and humans live kinda together. Humans have their own little niche of the land, while fairies, are separate. They're hiding behind their wall. So, you don't see many of them, thankfully, though the humans don't really like fairies. They are wary of them, they do not like them, except for, this one group, which I'm not gonna go into. So, Feyre lives with her father and two sisters, and she's basically the provider for them. They used to kind of be a well-off family, but fell on some hard times because their father made a little bit of a mistake. So now they're all suffering for it. And her oldest sister is kind of bitter about it. Her middle sister is kind of like super optimistic. Her father, who had his knee busted up because he couldn't pay back some debts, she's basically the one who provides for them via hunting and trading. And basically, without her, her family would have died pretty damn quickly. So it's winter, she's out hunting in the woods, and she kills this wolf, who is a little odd, but she kills him, skins him. So yeah, that wolf turned out to be a fairy. I believe the term is high fae. And yeah. So yeah, the beast character in this story, whose name is Tamlin. Is that how you pronounce it? I believe so. And as part of this treaty or whatnot, basically he can either kill Feyre, life for a life sort of thing, or she can come and basically live with him in his home. So yeah, she ends up going with him, her family's left alone, and she's in this fairy court now. So, kind of like Beauty and the Beast, but, a little different, a little more badass and dark. Basically the story is Feyre living with Tamlin in his little estate, and yeah, the plot is vaguely like Beauty and the Beast, but not like identical. Yay! Well, there is a curse she has to break, because, that was a big part of Beauty and the Beast. But I like how it's done. I thought it was really interesting, and, a nice little twist and turn here and there. While this book is, I believe it's mostly young adult, there are a few kind of adultish / new adult parts of it. So if you do not like, more adult aspects or young adult aspects, so some parts got a little steamy, so if you do not like that kind of thing, read with caution. I'm totally fine with the hot and steamy, but I know some people aren't, so just read with caution if you are one of those people. So yeah, that's really all I can say without giving any sort of spoilers. So yeah, if you have not read A Court of Thorns and Roses yet, I highly, highly, highly suggest you, especially if you liked Throne of Glass. Chances are good you will love this book just as much. So yeah, without further ado, time for the spoilers. So, I absolutely adored the relationship between Tamlin and Feyre. I thought it was really cute. I like how they interact. I love just how they work. And I like how the relationship did take time to form. Like I've probably said before, I hate love at first sight. Needless to say, there are a few exceptions. But I did like how it did take a while. Like, she hated him at first. Things were tense between them. But slowly, you know, they grew closer and closer. And then, boom, romance. And can I also say I love Lucien? I love his attitude. I love his sass. I love his comments. He is just fabulous, and I love him. And I loved how the curse in this book was done. Basically, everyone in the Spring Court, which Tamlin is the High Lord of, is stopped wearing these masquerade masks, which they were wearing when this curse was kind of put in effect, and they can't come off unless the curse is broken. And I like how the curse was kind of more intense than it was in The Beauty and the Beast. Tamlin has to find a human and make a human love him. But that's not all. The human has to have a bitter hatred for Fae in their hearts. And I believe it was said, you know, they would have to kill a Fae in order for, you know, it to work. So it took quite a while to orchestrate things, so they played out just right to get the right girl to be brought into the Spring Court for the curse to attemptedly be broken. And, you know, Feyre is the perfect girl. She hates the Fae, she killed one, and she does eventually grow to love Tamlin. And things are really intense, because if the curse is unbroken, Tamlin and the whole Spring Court are basically stuck in the masks, and Tamlin is brought into this place under the mountain, who this really evil chick, whose name I cannot pronounce, I believe it's Amarantha, basically wants him to be her lover, and yeah. And I think it's awesome how Feyre has to go the extra mile. Like, when she realizes, oh my god, this curse, I could have broken it. You know, it's not enough that she instantly realizes, oh, I love him, and then the curse is broken after she tells him. No, since it's after the deadline, she has to go through this whole extra set of loops, doing all these tasks to try and save Tamlin. And not just Tamlin, but the whole Spring Court as a whole, and all the Fae and this little island as a whole. Because this crazy chick has control over, like, all the powers of the High Lords. Like, she has stripped the power from them, leaving them, like, the basest of power. So, you know, she's basically been unopposed since she came over there and did this. So, you know, there's quite a lot on the line, not just Tamlin or his court, but pretty much everyone. So yeah, it's pretty intense, and it's fabulous, and I love how things are done. I don't know about anyone else, but I thought the answer to the riddle that Amarantha, pretty much I thought it was kind of obvious the answer was going to be love. Mostly because that's kind of an underlying theme throughout all this, and something that Amarantha doesn't have. Also, can I just say I love Rhysand? Is that how you pronounce his name? Rhysand? Rhysand? Whatever. He's an ass, and I love it, and his character amused me, especially since he seemed super bad at first. I'm really interested to see more of him in the later books, because he was awesome and funny, and I found him greatly amusing. I really like how at the end Feyre becomes a High Fae. So I thought that was really cool, and I'm interested to see how it plays out in the later books. I'm really interested to see what her family thinks, if they ever see her again. I'm pretty sure the older sister, Nesta, will accept her. I did like how Nesta seemed to really hate her, and she seemed like such a cold bitch at the beginning. But I did like to see, you know, she wasn't a total cold-hearted bitch. And that really redeemed her in my eyes. So I have a feeling she would definitely, you know, accept her sister. I'm not quite sure what the father would think. I'm pretty sure the middle sister would accept her too. Not sure about the father. I don't really like the dad. Like, I totally understand being really depressed about having, like, everything torn away from you. But if you have 3 daughters who, you know, you're the parent, you should be supporting your daughters, you should be providing for them, instead of, you know, leaving your youngest, you know, provide for all of you. So yeah, I love this book from everything. Just everything I loved. Feyre and Tamlin's romance, Lucien and his jerky, sassy self. I love it. I absolutely loved it. And I am really curious to see what happens in the next books. And I do have to say, This book is now officially one of my favorite books of the year so far. And this whole series, I have a feeling, is definitely going to be a favorite series of mine, even though it's only one book in right now. So yeah, that's it for this book review, and I hope to see you guys next time. Keep on reading, my fellow book addicts. Keep on reading.